Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio, so today I want to tell you about a weird story which is completely true and is genuinely a little bit surprising. Staff promos have been sent out for 5 sets that have been and gone for pre-release promos, and that is awesome. Although before we get rolling, I have one very small quick request. It is my daughter's 5th birthday today, and she's gotten to the age now where she is just about able to read. So if you guys would be kind enough to drop a bunch of happy birthday messages for me daughter in the comments, she's called Daisy, that would be amazing, and I would be absolutely delighted, and it would make her day. But anyway, staff promos. Why is this weird? Well, some of you may remember that when Vivid Voltage came out, Pokémon actually sent emails to a bunch of stores basically saying, staff promos are done. We're not doing staff promos anymore. And there was a decent reason for this. Essentially, part of the reason for this was that people were not being nice. A bunch of friends of mine have been working at shops and not been given staff promos, only to find out later on that those promos were then sold somewhere else, which is really annoying. I mean, Vivid Voltage was actually one of the worst sets for it, because Vivid Voltage has a Charizard pre-release promo, which means there was a staff pre-release promo for Charizard, and that was just a whole thing. I've unfortunately heard more than one story of staff working Vivid Voltage pre-release events not being given their staff promos, only to then find out later that those staff promos were being sold by the people involved. Or the people running the store. It sucks, frankly, ladies and gentlemen. There's no other way to put it. It's absolutely rubbish, and I'm not a fan of it. But around about Vivid Voltage, Pokemon came out and basically said, look, we're not doing staff promos anymore. We're not doing it, it's over. And that kind of made sense, but it made people a bit sad. And it should have made people a bit sad, because, of course, I've staffed a bunch of events. Now, I don't very much anymore, and that does genuinely make me a little bit sad. But before children and mortgage and marriage and all of that, there was a period of time where I judged a bunch of pre-releases. It was kind of my thing. I went and judged pre-releases, and it was awesome, and I loved it. And it was nice getting the staff promos. It was nice having that reward for, you give up your chance to play, but then you go and get your staff promos and everything's lovely. That was cool. Well, then they took that away, and it really hurt a little bit. Because, of course, people who staff these events, generally they're not doing it for the promos. They're doing it because they're lovely people willing to give up their time so everyone else can have fun. As a side note, thank you, judges, when you go to tournaments, because if your judges don't come and judge, you don't get to go and play events, and that sucks, ladies and gentlemen. That's not fun. So please, thank you, judges, when you go to events. Without judges, we don't get tournaments. So they stopped, and people were a little bit sad, and then that was that. And now Vivid Voltage was the end of year 1 of the Sword and Shield TCG. Remember, for those of you that are newer, basically the way it works is the Pokémon TCG is very much split into years. So there are 4 sets per year. So Vivid Voltage was the 4th Sword and Shield set. It was the end of year 1. And then we had 2 more years, 8 sets in total, with nothing, no staff promos or anything. And then Scarlet and Violet came around. And at the beginning of Scarlet and Violet, set 1, we got our staff promos back. We got them back. And it was lovely. Apologies for when I'm using some of these staff promos, the quality of the images isn't always great. I apologise, we're not always given nice, easy scans of them. But the fact of the matter is, we were given these staff promos back. And I'm not staffing anymore, I'm not getting these promos, that's not the point. The point is that the lovely ladies and gentlemen who are turning up to staff these events are now being rewarded with these staff promos, and that is absolutely wonderful. But that created a gap. That created a gap of 8 sets, years 2 and 3 of the Sword and Shield era, where staff promos didn't exist. And a little while ago, some images started doing the rounds, but they were blurry and hard to tell if they were real. And even if they were real, it's hard to tell where they came from, whether they should have been got, etc., etc., etc. So we didn't talk about them because it wasn't right and it wasn't confirmed and it was just awkward. But we're there, ladies and gentlemen. Now a bunch of stores have been sent these out. They are definitely 100% real. They are legit. They have been sent out to stores, and this is absolutely wonderful. The image I'm using here, shout out to lovely Alpha TTCG, who has been kind enough to share this image, and is a very lovely, wonderful person. Seriously, I'm giving them more and more shout outs on the channel lately. There's a good reason. They are awesome. But you'll notice there are 5 sets represented here. We have, in chronological order, Evolving Skies, Brilliant Stars, Astral Radiance, Lost Origin, and Silver Tempest. All of these are now available. Pre-release promos, stamped with the staff, are available, and this is awesome. Although, as a personal side note, that now means there is a staff Okacheke pre-release Finian, which I need to try and pick up at some point. So if anybody watching has got a lead on how I can trade for one of those, please do hit me up on Twitter at the Wassy Woodjar, because now all of a sudden my Okacheke collection just got a really awkward card added that I need to try and pick up somewhere down the line. Hey ho, we'll get there in a minute. I'm sure I'll find it one day. But like I say, if anyone's got a lead, do hit me up. But this is firstly awesome, let's be clear. This is great news, wonderful news, absolutely love it. Could not be happier about this. This is delightful and wonderful and awesome. But it's not perfect. Because you may notice there are some sets missing. I told you that we were missing 2 years of the Sword and Shield TCG in terms of staff promos. I told you there's 4 sets a year, so that means that we're missing 8 sets worth of staff pre-release promos. What is being sent out is 5 sets worth of staff pre-release promos. So there are 3 sets missing. Now, year 3 of the Sword and Shield TCG is nice and simple. Year 3 is, in order, Brilliant Stars, Astral Radiance, Lost Origin, Silver Tempest. You can see on the screen all 4 of those are represented. You've then got Evolving Skies. Evolving Skies, of course, being the best of the Sword and Shield sets. It is the one that everybody loves because of all the EVs and all of that. But the other 3 sets are missing. We have no Battle Styles. We have no Chilling Reign. There is an exception, we'll get to that in a minute. And we have no Fusion Strike. Those sets are all missing. And at this stage, and I can't say for certain, obviously, but I think at this stage it's probably fair to assume that they're not coming. That these are just not a thing. That for whatever reason, these pre-release promos, stamped with staff, don't exist and are never coming back. And the reason is really simple. Surely if Pokemon were going to send out, they would have sent them out with these. Like, if Pokemon was going to give you 8 sets, they would give you 8 sets, they wouldn't send out 5 with 3 coming along later down the line. And again, I can't say for certain, these might be sent out later, there might have been distribution issues, there might have been printing issues, there's a million different reasons why these 3 sets might be missing their pre-release promos. But at the staff ones at least. But as it stands, at the moment, these are missing. But I did say there was an exception, and there is an exception. Because you may notice that there were a very, very small amount of staff promo Cinderace that was spotted in the wild. Now, I believe these came from the UK. I'm not sure if they were ever spotted anywhere else. But there were some Cinderace pre-release promos sent out. Were they sent out by mistake? Were there just a few printed and they were sent out to some shops because they were printed and they might as well send them out? I don't have any other information. I have seen enough to be convinced that they are legit. They were properly sent to stores. They were not, nicked from a factory or anything silly like that. These are legit pre-release promos that were sent to stores. The most likely answer, and I don't know this for a fact, but the most likely answer is there were a few printed by mistake and these ended up getting sent out to stores. And these were never really supposed to be printed. I never saw a staff promo from Chilling Reign other than Cinderace. It was only Cinderace, the other 3 were never spotted. It was a couple of stores here and there, rather than everyone. So the most likely answer, and let's be clear, it is the most likely answer, it is not in any way, shape or form proven, is that they just printed a few by mistake and sent them out. As a side note, these Cinderace are worth a few bob. And if you have one of these Cinderace, they are very, very rare and very, very collectible. And it's awesome. So yeah, just, something to think about. That's kind of cool, right? Yeah. I don't have one of these. I will never have one of these. And I can say I'll never have one of these because basically by now, I would have to have it. The fact that I don't already have it kind of proves that I will never have it. Sad? Yeah, honestly. Gutted. I'm never going to have one. It's okay. Let's move on with our lives. Right, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That's what you need to know, and now it's over to you guys. Tell me what you think about these staff promos. Tell me if you've been picking any of these up. Tell me if you really miss one of the other 3 sets we've never got. Tell me anything you want to tell me in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and card games and Pokemon card games, all kinds of fun things. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, and all kinds of fun stuff. Oh yeah, and give shout-outs on the channel, like the lovely Danger Morales, who's been a supporter of ours for a while and is awesome. So shout out to them for all the support and the awesomeness. But by far the most important thing is always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? And drop a birthday message for Daisy, she'd love it. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.